Hey there, y'all. Eric, our functional farmhouse, coming at you today with: is DIY do-it-yourself a scam? Well, it kind of depends. I know there's a lot of memes and jokes out there where someone's in their garage and they're like, "Yeah, we're gonna build this thing, and the first thing we're gonna do is port this CAD file over to our $2 million 6-axis CNC mill, and we're just gonna do this little thing and this operation. And of course, you could do this at home too." Well, that's kind of one of the extreme things and there are folks out there that you get to have access to that, whether you're fortunate enough to own that shop or you work there. And so today it's kind of hyperbole on that because I am making just a freaking box. And why am I doing that? Well, I've got 2 cats. They're getting older, and the same litter box situation they've had for the last 6 years just isn't working out. And I need something to put the litter box in with some additional litter around. That's our situation, our cats, how we're doing it. I've tried the automated ones. I've spent a ton of money on different things. They just don't like them. And so we're making a box. I've got some scrap MDF, and you're going to be telling me, Eric, yeah, what are you doing MDF? Liquids? MDF? Well, you see, and this is where we're going to start this hyperbole off on the DIY. So I cut the box on my fully modded rigid table saw that has a table extension for a router down here that I don't have installed, and a fully calibrated scale on the fence with these are timing belt wheels from a product. This thing is accurate, and I've got the extension table over here, and we cut our box. We got our dimensions. I happened to inherit this saw from a family member who was upgrading to a Powermatic, and you notice I'm outside. I don't have enough room to keep this saw inside, so I've got some plain billboard material that, again, a friend of mine had bought a lot of something, and this came with it, and he had to take it all. So what we're going to do with this box, and how are we going to make it watertight? Well, you might recall the RV epoxy video, and I've got leftover epoxy from that, and this stuff was like $300 for that I have left over. Of course, you're going to have your biscuit joiner. And because I am far enough out and I'm lazy, I've got my Milwaukee M18 compressor because I don't want to get my 100-foot hose out and unreel it, and my rigid brad nailer, and of course we're going to have ourselves some wood glue. All to make a box, this isn't really a project you can hire out per se, and I've tried looking on all the sites, and anything that would potentially be a thing, the size is smaller than this for shipping purposes, because once you start getting up in scope, it gets really expensive to ship things ad hoc individually. So I'm not going to pay $50 to ship something, so we're going to try our hand and make it, see if it works. But I can tell you I've got a couple grand in tools out right now for what someone would pitch, like, oh yeah, hey, go to my website and get the plans, and get your $3,000 in tools out, and you too can whip this up. So yeah, DIY, it lets you do stuff, do it yourself. And a lot of folks think more of like the crafting community, where you only need more ideas and a couple of basic tools. But once you start doing some woodworking, this is like barely carpentry in mine. This isn't even finished carpentry or furniture making. Those guys get really into the specialty equipment. And I may get my router out and round these over. I haven't decided on that yet, but we'll see. So I've already got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll have 6, 7 power tools out on just this little simple project. And let's see if I can do a time lapse, and y'all follow along with me. Hey there, y'all. So right now we're just measuring off our dimensions for the biscuits. And because we are going to do edges to a perpendicular side, it's not just the same exact. We have to make sure we get the spacing right. The last time I did this, I wasn't quite in tune, and I was not flush where I wanted to be. So I spent quite a bit of time dialing that in on this one. And then once we're good, we punch them all down,
and we test fit and check it out.
And boom, what do we have? We have our mocked up box with biscuits at each corner and biscuits on every panel to the base. We're going to use wood glue and brad nails. Nails are gonna keep this tacked while the glue dries. And once we get that set up, then we're gonna mix up some epoxy that takes a long time and it soaks in a lot. So we're gonna get this thing glued up and then go to some epoxy action.
Just doing your basic disassembly and glue up, and the camera overheated, so sorry we didn't get the whole thing.
All right, y'all, we're back. Camera overheated. It's not even 90 today, and I'm in the shade. I don't know what's up with these GoPros, but if you got a better camera recommendation, let me know. So we are using this product here from, was it RV Rot Doctor? And this is a 2-part epoxy. This goes on really thin. So we're gonna mix this up and get it soaking into this MDF, which it's gonna take quite a bit. This is a 50-50 mix. Getting nabbed in the head by. So I'm gonna do 16 ounces for just right now. We'll see what that gets us. That was the resin. This is the hardener. I've got 8 ounces measured in. We're gonna run this up to 16. And I've already got my paddle from last time. This thing's usually, I've got a couple of coats of epoxy on this, but where this needs to get. I thought I had pulled all the epoxy out. Got ourselves some friends. We're gonna run this backwards too. There. All right, y'all. We're just gonna get a chip brush.
And here we go, y'all. We are applying the epoxy. We want to get it soaking in gently, so we're doing some light coats. This has a pretty long cure time, so it's easy to go back over and get some extra density in there. This stuff is very thin, and it's designed specifically for soaking into wood, which is exactly what we're aiming for on this one. All right, y'all, so we mixed up a second 16 ounces, so we'll be into this for 32 ounce total. And we're just, again, continuing to go over and apply just a second coat across the entire interior surface. You can see a little bit of running and whatnot. We smooth all that out, and then we leave this to cure overnight, and there it is.
All right, y'all, we've got phase 1 complete. And you might be asking yourself, Eric, how come you weren't wearing PPE? You didn't have your safety glasses on using the biscuit joiner. Well, I had them on with the table saw and the biscuit joiner. It's freaking hot and I'm sweaty. And could I have used a respirator for this? This stuff, again, I'm out here. I've got a good breeze. You can hear my wind chimes in the background. And you can see how we're looking. Again, you're probably asking yourself, well, why aren't you using Starboard? Why aren't you using something more waterproof? Well, I have some Starboard, and I don't have enough. And I'm not going to go and buy a bunch on this project. And you can see the MDF is soaking it up, but it's also bubbling up like it got wet. I don't know. It's DIY, y'all. It's an experiment. We'll see. We'll see what we get. I want this to cure, and then I'm going to throw a coat of paint on the outside. I haven't decided if I'm going to round over the edges. If I do, I'm going to round them over and sand this thing before paint, and we'll see what happens on that side.
All right, y'all, so I have my orbital sander. We're starting with a 120, or actually I was a 320 pad. I'm out of my 220s. We're doing a little rocking out. Couldn't have the garage stereo going for copyright infringement reasons, so I got my earbuds, and I will have them underneath my ear muffs once I get the router. So we're just knocking down some high spots. Again, this is going to be a litter box thing, so it's not going to be perfect. We're blowing some dust off, and I'm dorking around with the router bits, and the one I needed was already on it. All right, we've got a gallon of Kills primer. We got tinted with this gray mist. We wanted something that wasn't just white, and this wasn't the exact color I wanted, but in running the big box and picking something up, this will do. So we're just, getting the can open and gonna put a couple of coats of paint. And obviously, I've got this chip brush there. I'm using leftover things I have. There's faster ways to do this, but I wasn't going to start getting out rollers for this small of a surface area. So we're just slapping some paint on. It's pretty slow going. We're going to kick the speed up here, and we get it done. 2 coats on the outside, and we did 3 coats on the inside there.
All right, buddy. What do you think? Did you help Daddy put some paint on this thing?
Yep.
And what did we do?
Paint.
Yeah, but do you want to show the stuff, the tools? Oh, we're not going to open it, bud. But yeah, if you were going to open it, use a can opener. And then what else did we use? Did we use the brush here?
Yeah.
And then you helped paint the whole inside?
Yep.
And we even painted a makeshift Minecraft pickaxe. But yeah, so this is our finished DIY box. It's not a whole lot, but we're hoping it's going to do what we need it to do. What do you think, bud? Another job? Little thumbs up, super fist bump? That's it.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.